Those things that we don't do are equally as important as those things that we do. Those things that we don't say, equally as important as those things that we do say. There's a lot of confusion around recognition and the need for recognition within human beings. Because as human beings, we do have a need to be recognized as valuable to those people around us. Negotiating that need for recognition can be challenging in our culture and society, specifically, I would say, because there is some confusion or misunderstanding around its importance, its value, and necessity. And also, there's not a really clear understanding of the balance of how much recognition is okay to need and at what point is it problematic. When was the last time you recognized someone for something valuable or good that they did? When was the last time you recognized someone for a job well done, or for a character trait that you appreciated, or for just something good about them? When was the last time? Or are we only recognizing those things that aren't good or that we don't like? Is that because we really don't notice good things in the other person or in the other people around us? Or is there some reason why it feels like recognizing another person is somehow subtracting value from us? Like any human need that we have, the need for recognition is about balance. And if we get enough of the right recognition at the right times, we won't need recognition from others. There will be enough to sustain or to create enough of a core foundation within us of value and of recognition of that value that we can go out into the world and believe those things about ourselves. And this is especially important in early childhood. If that foundation is set relatively well or good enough, that will allow that child the ability to become an adult who goes out in the world and who is able to navigate a world in which sometimes they receive recognition, but there also isn't a need for it because they aren't in a constant deficit of recognition, meaning that they aren't able to recognize the good in themselves. Our job is to reflect the good in our children and in others to them enough that they can start to recognize it in themselves. And that's why authentic recognition is important. And if we didn't get enough of that core foundation in childhood, then it doesn't mean that we're at a loss in adulthood, but it means that we may be more likely to excessively seek recognition or validation from others around us. And that no matter how much of that recognition or validation we get, it won't ever be enough to sustain a belief that we ourselves believe we are worthy and valuable. Healthy recognition is going to create a foundation in which we are able to believe the value about ourselves. We're going to be able to recognize the value in ourselves and what we bring to the table as valuable human beings. So much so that we won't need to be recognized and valuable for everything. We're overly sensitive to absence of recognition from others when we don't have enough of that foundation and when I'm not really sure that I am valuable inside. So even if, say, 9 out of 10 times I get a good response from others or I'm recognized as valuable from 9 of the 10 people that I run across, if on that 10th time I'm not recognized as valuable, that can override all the recognition that I've received from the other 9 people. And that only happens because I am not certain that I'm valuable. So if we didn't get that foundation in childhood, that means in adulthood we have to do a little extra work to work on how to believe we are valuable. And really doing an assessment and evaluating what are those valuable things that I bring to the table. What is it that I see as valuable about me? That I see valuable about me. Not necessarily others. Now, if others agree with that, that's great, because recognition, initially it should start from the outside in. Others might present to us, oh, hey, I see this good thing in you. And then we might start to evaluate it and think, hey, you know what, that is right. I didn't know that I was really compassionate, or I didn't know that I was really good at this or really good at that. So recognizing that in others gives them the opportunity to reflect on that and decide if they believe that or not. So in adulthood, we're more likely to reject or deflect that recognition and get in our own way if we didn't receive a healthy foundation early on in childhood. Now, we don't have to be dependent upon that recognition in adulthood, meaning that we don't have to have the recognition of others to be okay. But at the same time, why would I want people in my life who aren't willing to recognize the good in me or who don't see anything good or valuable about me? Why would I want people in my life like that didn't see good in me? That just really doesn't make sense. Should we need that from others or be reliant on it from others? Not necessarily, no, because in the end, I need to make that final decision as to what I believe about me. And that becomes more challenging when we're in situations and circumstances in which those around us are maybe intentionally reflecting back a version of you that isn't true, or intentionally neglecting or ignoring good traits or value about you, dismissing your value so that you eventually start to see yourself differently. Because there are people who will intentionally do that. And I want you to know that that's not about you. That's not about your value, that's about them and how little value they feel like they hold. And honestly, it probably means that they see more value in you. So much value in you that they may even be threatened by it and don't want to feed it. That they want to change the way that you would feel about yourself. And I think that's a really, really sad place to be as a human being. I would not want to be someone, and I don't want to be someone who leaves others feeling worse about themselves, or who intentionally does something or withholds something, which is also a choice, to change the way someone feels about themselves, to make them feel less than what they are. And if you find that you're someone who does that, that doesn't mean that you aren't a valuable person, but that's not okay. And I would suggest that you really consider, what do you need to do to feel like a valuable human being? And why is it that seeing the value in others is so threatening to you? Usually it's because we don't see the value in ourselves and we want to feel valuable. And because we don't know how to feel valuable within, or instead of directing that energy in, we direct it out. And instead of trying to build myself, I try to knock other people down. And by I mean that's a metaphorical I. The person involved will try to knock other people down, try to devalue them so that now we're on an even playing field. You're not valuable either now. Look, you don't believe in yourself either now. Look, I can feel comfortable. And again, when I say I, that's a metaphorical I. I'm not saying that I haven't ever experienced that. There was a time in my life that I didn't like myself very much at all. I didn't know what was valuable about me. I didn't see anything valuable about me. And I honestly haven't gotten a lot of what I would call healthy recognition or support from others. A lot of what I do or the value that I bring isn't really recognized in today's society, because I value being a good person, not just looking like a good person. And I don't play the games in society. And it's been a challenge for me throughout life. But despite that, as long as I hang on to that belief in me, as long as I'm clear on what I believe my value is, and also what I value in human beings, in myself, in this world, what are the things that I value most? It's not things. Things are nice, but I value people, I value living things, I value life, I value character, I value the way that we treat one another, the way that I treat other people. And that doesn't mean that I'm always acting in my ideal self. I'm a human being. And that means I do my best to shoot for that, though. I'm at least really trying for that. And I'm at least really trying not to hurt other people. And just because I'm not trying to hurt others doesn't mean they aren't trying to hurt me. Just because I'm showing up with recognition for them doesn't mean they're going to do the same for me. And I understand that, and I don't do it to get it in return. But why would you not want to if there was something there to recognize? And there's good in every single human being. It might just be one thing that you can see, but there is good in everyone. There's something valuable and recognizable in everyone. Why would we not want to allow that value to exist? It's okay to acknowledge what's there that's not okay, too. We don't have to just highlight one or the other. We aren't just good or bad people. We're a little bit of both. I've got my best self and my worst self, and most days I'm hovering somewhere in between, but trying to stay as close to my best self as I can, as is allowable in this world and within the responsibility that I hold in this world, because I'm accountable for me in the end. And that accountability helps me own my value as well. It helps me keep account of my value and whether I'm living in accordance to my value system, the things that I value. And I feel better about myself at the end of the day if I have decided to operate on something that's important to me, a value that I hold, rather than stooping to a level to meet someone else where they are. There's a lot of misunderstanding around the need for recognition. It's often misunderstood or categorized as attention. They want attention. And maybe they do, because maybe they're looking for recognition. Maybe especially in children. Often I hear that in children, they just want attention. They might. Have they been recognized for the good in them? Or are we only pointing out when things aren't going well? Are we only pointing out what they're not doing well? Maybe they are looking to be recognized as valuable in some way. And especially if that's not happening at home, in that setting, they're going to be more reliant on other external sources for that within the school system or other places in the world. So instead of seeing it as attention and something negative, and then what are we doing if we see it as attention? We're shaming them. So now what am I recognizing? I'm recognizing that you are shameful for needing to be recognized as a valuable human being. Well, that's just creating more of the problem, isn't it? Now, does that mean that everyone gets to be recognized all the time? No. Does it mean that we make up things that are good about people if it isn't there? But there usually is something. It may take a little work. Our brains have to work a little harder to create more of a strengths-based perspective, to be able to see the value, the good, the strengths in others and situations, rather than being overly focused on what's not working or the negative. But we can train our brains to do that. So while it may take a little extra work, we can usually find something. It's just being willing to put the work into identifying some strength, as much as we can anyway. So it doesn't mean that it has to be recognized every single time. They always have to be recognized the way that they want to. Sometimes maybe what we're recognizing in others is that I see that you really tried hard here. You really wanted this and you really gave it your best. You put a lot of effort into this. We can recognize that without recognizing you were the best. Because the reality is, we aren't going to be the best. There's always going to be a better. But we can meet our best. We can meet our better than yesterday. Or better than our worst. Recognition is a real human need. It's a need. It's a key component of developing a healthy self-concept within ourselves. And it starts in childhood. If it happens in childhood, that's fantastic. That means that we at least start out with a pretty clear foundation. If we didn't get that in childhood, that means that we may have to do a lot of unlearning maybe beliefs that we aren't good enough, or that we aren't valuable, or that others parcel that value out to us based on what we do, based on our performance. We may have to unlearn things like that in adulthood, and it takes some work to be able to rewire ourselves. It may take a little work, or a lot of work and time, to allow ourselves to take that place of the ultimate decision maker as to what our value is, what good enough is for us. Because as long as I allow that power to be solely in other people's hands, if that isn't a power I'm owning for myself, I'm at a disadvantage, because that means that I will always be at the whim of others. So, who have you recognized today? What can you recognize in yourself today that you've done well? Or that you at least did better? Or that you didn't do poorly? Or just that you did? There's always something to recognize. It doesn't matter if it's something you're supposed to do already. If you're a mother and you're supposed to take care of your children, that doesn't mean you can't be recognized for doing it. It's hard work. If you showed up today, even though it was hard and it was a struggle and you were tired or didn't have the energy, even if no one else saw that effort, you can recognize it in you. You know exactly what responsibilities you carry and the effort that you're putting into things. And that is enough. That has to be enough, which means we have to release the outcome of what others are going to believe about us. We have to release the outcome of the narrative that others are going to spin about us. Most of my parenting has been as a single person. And anyone who is a single parent knows that that is way too much responsibility for one person. It's pretty much impossible to do as well as we would like to do it. And so because of that, it was often just putting out fires, just trying to show up and keep our head above water. I know what that looked like to the outside world. But I know that to me, I was really working hard and doing the best I could in circumstances that were beyond what any one human being should do or should be able to do or be expected to do. Yet it was my responsibility and I took it seriously. So I had to release the outcome. I had to release control of what others were going to believe about me or think about me. And we have to do that in life, even outside of that circumstance. There are many other circumstances. I'm making this video right now, and I have to release control of what others are going to think about it. Whether they're going to find value in it or not. Or whether they're going to find value in it, but intentionally ignore it in hopes that I will not believe that I'm valuable. So this is a reminder for myself today, as much as everyone else, that you are the ultimate authority over your life and your value. And what you decide your value is the only thing that matters. And we have a choice. And when we're in a situation in which others are reflecting back to us nothing but negativity, or maybe they're intentionally withholding due recognition for things, we have a choice. We have a choice whether to believe them or not. Don't let them tell you how to feel about yourself when they don't even know how to feel about themselves, obviously.